It's your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. How are you guys doing today? Now, on this edition of Big Meat Sport Podcast, I want to talk about some NBA playoffs. But first and foremost, I do have to give a shout out to my girl Simone Biles. I feel like women athletes don't get enough shout out as it is. And Simone Biles just went for her seventh U.S. gymnastic title. This girl is killing it and is one of, I would say, one of the top female athletes in our generation. Her and Serena Williams, I believe, don't get the enough credit as they need to receive, and especially the week of the Logan and Mayweather fight on Instagram, Sports on Instagram, they did 17 posts of Logan and the Mayweather fight and zero of Simone Biles winning the U.S. gymnastic title. I think, Simone, you are excellent. You are one of the best top athletes. Keep on doing what you're doing. I just hope that when my daughter gets older, and either does gymnastics or does whatever, just dominates on what she does, just like how you dominate the gymnastic scene. And I see that you're getting older and you're teaching the young girls and so on and so forth. And to me, I don't watch gymnastics that much, but I did watch it, this past weekend and saw that how you're interacting with the younger girls and just dominating on the floor and everything. Continue the good work and good luck on the Tokyo Games. But I just wanted to start off the podcast by shouting out Simone Biles, one of the top female athletes in our generation. So keep up the good work, Simone. Um, so talking about some playoff basketball, as you guys saw last night, if you didn't see last night, I know you're probably aware of Sports Center, talking about it. But the Nets and Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, this game at the first half, I really thought that Milwaukee was going to run away with this game, and all of a sudden they let their guard down, and Kevin Durant went wild. Went for 49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists. I think this is one of those games that you're going to look back and a game that saved their season if the Nets go on and to the finals and possibly win the finals. This is one of those games that you're going to say, this is where Kevin Durant and our season changed right here, because we could have went down 3-2 heading back to Milwaukee and in a predicament. But Kevin Durant went out there and laid it all out on the line. Jeff Green going out there and giving you 27 points, which was huge. I mean, I felt like Kevin Durant, the game four, was out there doing it all by himself, and nobody wanted to take that second role. And I think that a lot of times they're deferring to him and hoping that he can work miracles. Uh, with James Harden out there, yes, he only scored, I believe it was 5 points, but there's a quote by what Reggie Miller was talking about after the game. Do you sit James Harden game six and to rest him for game seven? I don't say that. I say you have James Harden out there, and the reason why you have James Harden out there, it's because he's a threat. Even though he's wobbling out there, he's not the same James Harden, but he's a threat. He's a threat to make the 3-point shot. He can go off whenever he can. Now, you saw his legs weren't underneath him. He was deferring most of the time. He was 1 for 10 from the field. But I would take that, because what's happening is he's still a point guard. He knows how to set people up, and he's smart enough to know when to shoot and when not to shoot and where to give it to the hot hand. I think you keep James Harden out there, and especially on game sevens, you never know what can happen on a game seven. Milwaukee could have somebody on the bench that barely gets playing time and goes out there and scores 20 something points and ends the series on game seven. So you never take a chance. So I say you go out there, play James Harden. I feel the Nets have a little sense of confidence right now with that huge comeback win. Now, I do think that Kevin Durant probably drops like 20, 28, 30 points next game. Jeff Green, I believe, will continue to flourish because they look like they're packing up the paint when Kevin Durant drives, and it's opened up for Jeff Green, and it's going to open up for James Harden. Now James Harden knows that he had a bad game, and I don't anticipate him having another bad game, but we shall see. But I'm a Miami Heat fan, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I don't want the Bucks. I just don't like the Bucks. I don't know. There's something about them. I think it's more of the Giannis thing, of him, and he just likes to play. Let me run truck you over and try to get the foul, and that's basically his offense because he can't shoot the three. He doesn't really have a solid jump shot, so he gets away with it a lot, like 9 out of 10 times. But there are those times that he does get called for the charge. With Giannis, also to me, when the Kyrie injury, to me, this is my personal opinion. Okay, I think that Giannis went in there to show Kyrie, some tough love in throwing an elbow or showing him that he's here. Like, I don't think that he did it on purpose on, undercutting him and messing up Kyrie's ankles. Kyrie twisting his ankles and possibly out for this series. Well, he's out for the series, so we don't know his status for next series. I don't think Giannis, that was his intent. I think his intent was to, after Kyrie made that basket when he was coming down, he was gonna, give him a little nudge. No, it's, hey, it ain't all gonna be that easy. And then unfortunately, Kyrie rolled up on his ankle. But it is what it is. That's in the past. I like this Nets team. I just like to see good basketball and good team basketball. I think that was a great team win, coming back from 17 down in the third quarter. Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the world, one of the best shooters in the world, showed that why his name should be in that top echelon of players, and he did it last night. And without all the doubters and stuff like that, I think he put that to rest. What he did last night, it was good to see that style of basketball for Kevin Durant. So I mean, they're heading back to Milwaukee up 3-2. My anticipation is I think it's going to be a close game, but I believe the Nets just have that sense of feeling and that how would I say it, motivation right now to end this in 6 games. So we'll see. It's going to be a hard fought. Milwaukee plays really good at home, so we'll see. It's possibly it may go to Game 7, but this series is living up to the hype. The Nets went up 2-0, then they came back and won 2 games at home. So we'll see. I mean, it's becoming a really good series. The other series that wasn't really that good and it was dominated was the Suns and Nuggets. Man, the Suns went out there and just dominated. They got their veteran Chris Paul leading the way, with Booker shooting. I mean, this guy is, he's shooting lights out right now, and he's on a roll. And they have a big man in Aiton, which is dominating the paint, so they can play inside out. They have length, they have defense, they have a great all around team, and this is my team that I believe that is going to go to the finals. The Suns, and I believe it's going to be the Suns and the Nets. If the Nets can get past Milwaukee, I believe it's going to be the Suns and the Nets because the Suns pose a really great danger to all these other teams that they're playing, even in the Western and the Eastern Conference Finals. In the Eastern Conference, it's because they have shooting, they have length, they have defense, and they have a veteran point guard in Chris Paul that knows how to slow the tempo down. So when things start getting out of hand, he knows how to, hey, let's calm down, let's slow it down, let's get a quality basket right here, and that's Chris Paul. Now, the news out on Chris Paul is he's in the COVID protocol. He tested positive for COVID. It kind of sucks. Hopefully, he does get over this quickly and is ready for the Western Conference Finals. But CP3, it's nothing new on the playoffs. and something, always happens. He always gets injured or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, this he did get injured earlier. I believe it was a shoulder, but now it's with the COVID. So hopefully he can come back and lead his team to Western Conference victory in the finals and go to the NBA finals in the championship game. Um, One other intriguing matchups is 76ers and Atlanta Hawks. So I I am not a fan of the 76ers. I just think that one, Ben Simmons is overhyped. This guy can't shoot a jump shot. He can't shoot a three-pointer. He sucks on free throws. He's just drive and kick, and can make his layups here and there. But to me, and also Joel Embiid, the guy cries so much. You're 7 foot something. Bro, stop crying. Dominate the game. You're a lot of people are disinterested in the game because how much people cry, and you're one of those people that do that, cry about every single thing. And you need to go out there and just play ball, man. Play ball. You want every single foul, and it's not gonna work like that. And you're ones somebody barely touching you, flop like 10 feet. It's becoming a circus show over there. And I'm glad the Atlanta Hawks came back and beat you guys that game. Um, Man, it's just, I want the Hawks to win this series just so they can break up that 76ers, duel, or the whole 76ers organization, little team there. Because Simmons again and you're asking for how much money, and you're paying this guy how much money to be your star franchise player, and he can't even hit the free throw. He can't even be in the game in the last, minutes of the game because in fear if he get the ball, they'll foul him and he can't make his free throws. To me, I'm not paying a franchise guy that much money to go in there and, miss free throws, and I can't then rely on him to be in there and the games. I'm not doing it. Trey Young has been hurt. You can see it on his shoulder, and he's still willing his team to victories. And Trey Young is a rising superstar. I believe. I feel like tonight's game with Trey Young, I feel like he's gonna go off, and I feel like he's gonna go off for like 35 points. But his assists, that's what's it's gonna carry this team. It's him setting up Bogdanovich, Collins, and so on and so forth. I really do think that Trey Young, he's going to have one of those games tonight, and they're going to put the 76ers on brink of elimination, putting the Atlanta Hawks up 3 games to 2. So we shall see. But I can't wait. I can't wait for this game to come on tonight. And lastly, the Utah Jazz and the Clippers. This is this has been one of those games that's one of the series that have been up and down. Um, News out is Kawhi Leonard's out with a possible ACL injury. Don't know what the extent of the ACL injury is, but I do feel that without Kawhi, the Clippers are in really, really big trouble. Now, do I think they can possibly get past this round? They can. And the reason why I say that is Donovan Mitchell is doing almost every single thing for his basketball team to win. He's not getting really that much help. And what sucks about that is Mike Conley's hurt. And I believe that when Mike Conley was out there, one, it gave him that defensive presence at the point guard spot to help out. That veteran that can also slow down the games. And this Mike Conley on the pick and roll, he's excellent on the pick and roll. He knows how to create space and create his own shot and lob it up there for Gobert. And also his 3-point shooting has been really, really good. I do believe it's going to be a tough series going out. I want to say with this Kawhi Leonard injury, Utah will win the series, but I wouldn't be surprised that the Clippers somehow, some way, find a way to win this series, but then they go to the Suns and they get destroyed. It's all about Paul George. I always say it's postseason PG3, pandemic P, whatever you want to call him. He doesn't show up. He's either hit or miss. There's games like last game he played very well, but then he'll give you one of those games that he is shooting, caca, and it really sucks to see that, because he's a really good ball player, and it's coming down to the point where I think it's more in the mental aspect that he's hearing these comments about him not showing up for postseasons and so on and so forth. But Will says, I want to see how this ends. And again, Donovan Mitchell is a star in his own right. And man, when I mean that this guy's back must be hurting for carrying this team as long as he has. They nobody else is stepping up, and they need that second person to really step up to help Donovan Mitchell. So we'll see. And if they do win again, they're Utah will be facing uh, the Suns, and I believe that again the Suns probably win that in probably 5 or 6 games, because again I did see that this I feel like it's a Suns year. They don't have to deal. They didn't really have to deal with LeBron. AD got hurt, so on and so forth. They got past that. I think Chris Paul got the monkeys off his back, and I feel like this is going to be Chris Paul's year to win championship. Now, if Kyrie and James Harden get healthier and they get into the final, that'll be an intriguing matchup. That's going to be one of those that the NBA needs to for the ratings purposes. Um, but when I say that could be a toss up, if it's Suns and Nets, I would get I would give the advantage to the Nets just because of their shooting, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns beat them also. So with that being said, this is your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the page. Again, shout out to Simone Biles. I mean, I can't express it enough. You're rocking it for the ladies out there. You're one of my top two female athletes that I've seen and I've been a witness to. You're right there, right next to Serena Williams. So keep up the good work. Um, Hopefully, get another episode either this week or next week. But it's your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the page, and we'll see you next time.